I'm really excited to introduce you to our next speaker. Priya Sodha is the founder and career strategist of Inner Gem. Priya is a passionate leader with a desire to inspire teams and support individuals through career transitions. She delivers engaging trainings and workshops on topics such as self-promotion and advocacy and professional branding. She's a LinkedIn guru and career transition expert, having made a huge industry transition in her own career. Priya spends her time coaching job seekers in their early career and career transitions with major organizations across the states. So thank you, Priya, for joining us today. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Just let me know when you'd like me to hop back in for audience questions.
Perfect. Do you mind giving me share screen access?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. And I'm so excited to share what we have in store. As many of us know, LinkedIn is probably one of the most popular platforms from the pandemic. I don't know if that is news to you, but it's something that has been really seeing a huge engagement. So you want to be on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for the amazing introduction. I'm glad to be here. I love Power to Fly. I love the work that you do. I love what the mission speaks for, and I love working with the community. So I'll introduce me a little bit so you're not like, who is this new face? I know you're seeing a ton of new faces this week. But the purpose of today's workshop is to really answer one of these questions for yourself. Do you feel like your LinkedIn speaks to who you are authentically and your professional brand? Do you feel like you're struggling to log in because you don't align with what your LinkedIn shares? Meaning, my LinkedIn is so from the past and I don't feel comfortable networking because who I am today is not what my LinkedIn is saying. And I don't know how to communicate that. Or do you want to upgrade what you have or add more to it? Or simply, are you starting fresh and need a LinkedIn to get yourself a foot in the door? So now is the time to revamp your LinkedIn. In this pandemic, a lot has changed for us. It's time to show your network and potential network what your professional brand is, especially if you're early in your career or if you're pivoting in your career. This is the time to speak up for you. And that's something that really matters to me. So I'll talk a little bit about me first so you get a better idea. I can't talk about brand if you don't know my brand. So who am I? So in front of you today, you have me. I am Priya Sodha as an Inner Gem career coach. I'm a professional in career transitions. I do a lot of coaching, training, and workshops. I came from the nonprofit industry, spent 15 years in nonprofit. Come to realize that this was not where I wanted to belong forever. And I always wanted to have my own business. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I started to learn a lot of the skills that I was learning along the way, because I love learning and development, and I love facilitation and training. And so it took me 1 year over the course of right before the pandemic hit to transition into learning and development, facilitation and training. I did a lot of that through my LinkedIn profile, which I will share with you today. So this is who I am by trade. This is also who I am by trade. I'm a yoga instructor, I'm a Zumba instructor, and I do a lot of mindfulness work. I love mindfulness, meaning how do you take what's happening in a crazy day? How do you reduce a lot of anxiety? And how do you take that inward so that you can continue to build resiliency and move forward no matter what's going on in the world around you? So these are two of the things about me that I share with people. Now, let me share with you what I do. I love to give advice, support others in career transitions. I love to give tips. I love to help. This is what I do by trade. This is also what I do by trade. The connection between your left and right brain, the connection between what's happening in your day, finding balance, setting healthy boundaries. So I also do workshops in wellness. Now, this is what I care about. These are the causes I care about. This is part of my brand. I care about equity. I care about diversity and inclusion. I care about opportunity and equal opportunity. This stuff matters to me. So anything that I do, any opportunity I take advantage of, this has to matter to the organizations or the people that I work with. This is also what I care about and what I volunteer in. I care about helping people grow and lift each other up. So particularly organizations that are working with women in career transitions or women who are looking to launch their own business, or with young people, with young adults, with high school students who are looking to learn about what it's like in the world. How do you tell their stories? So why do I tell you this? This is my brand. Everything here that I'm showing you is on my LinkedIn. It doesn't mean that I only share one part of my life. I'm going to share all about my professional brand. And this is why I share that with you, because you too are a brand, whether you know it or whether you like it or not. In a career transition or a job search, never forget that you have your own brand and your own story, and nobody else knows what that is besides you. So the question is, are you going to promote your brand, or are you going to let someone else do it for you? That's the power of LinkedIn. I say this because you get to create your brand and you get to tell your story. By letting other people do that, we are essentially doing the following. By letting other people tell our story, we are essentially doing the following. We're showcasing less accomplishments on our resume, LinkedIn, cover letter. So I don't know if any of us have done that, where we delete things that we think may or may not should be on there when they potentially could be. We downplay our work. We remove accomplishments. We block ourselves from people seeing our LinkedIn page. I don't know if anyone has a blocked LinkedIn page. We don't use I in self-promotion. We don't ask questions. We are afraid of meeting new people, but in allowing that fear, we do not meet new people. What ends up happening there is we then let someone else tell a part of our story, tell a part of our brand for us. So I am here to show you why it's so important to promote your brand on LinkedIn and how to do it, where to do it, and how to strategically do it in a way that you're attracting the right people. Because then essentially, people don't know who you are if you're not doing it. They don't know what you stand for, and they don't know what you bring to the table. And I want you to walk away feeling this way. I can do this, and I am going to tell the world what I am capable of. Okay, so let's dig into this a little bit. People often ask me this question: what do I highlight? What do I showcase? What do I tell the world about myself? So this slide. Here's the basis of the framework, and you can highlight this anywhere in your job search process, on your resume, on your cover letter, on your LinkedIn, in an interview, in a pitch, on your blurb. And for the purpose of why I'm here today, I'll show you how to use it on LinkedIn. First thing you want to highlight when you're talking about your brand professionally is your professional experience. But addition to professional experience, there's a very different way of telling somebody, I was an operations manager, versus I did operations, or I was an operations manager, and I used the following skills. I did the following tasks. I accomplished the following projects, highlights, or accomplishments. So talk about your professional experience by talking about your transferable skills, by highlighting your accomplishments and your work, being proud of what you've done. And professional experience can be paid or unpaid internships. It can be projects you have done in school. That's professional experience. Don't downplay what you might have done if the experience is going to align for the job you're applying for or the career industry you're looking to transition into. Number 2. Give me one moment. Okay, I'm looking for my mouse. Education and training. I say education and training because it is okay if you're coming in or trying to transition into something without a degree. While the barriers might be a little higher, there are ways around it. And you want to highlight the work you have done. Oftentimes, we approach the job search process thinking of the stuff we haven't done. When you do that, you're opting yourself out of opportunity and opting yourself out of meeting people. So if you're coming into the job search process and you don't have a degree, you don't have a certification in a specific industry, I don't have a certification in learning and development, but I found my way around it. And how you do that is by showcasing any certifications, any schools you went to, any professional development, and reaching out to the people who are doing what you want to do and find out how they transitioned into the industry. And that's the beauty of LinkedIn. Know that you can read articles, you can do free LinkedIn learning courses. There are things you can do to show that I have an interest in this. And it might be that you'll start maybe at a lower salary, but in a place that you can see more career growth. But highlight everything you've done on education and training, and I'll show you why that matters too. What you care about. This is huge. People don't often do this on LinkedIn. This is huge. Your volunteer experience, put it up there. Your causes you support, your values you care about. Why this matters is because now, more than any other time, people care about culture fit. They want to know that they're hiring somebody that's going to fit into the organization, the mission and the values. There are so many organizations and companies right now reshifting their values and mission. So you want to show them that, hey, you don't need to guess with me. I care about diversity and inclusion. I care about balance, work-life balance. I care about youth. I care about working on topics such as homelessness or poverty, because a lot of companies care about certain missions and causes, and that's where they put a lot of their corporate social responsibility too. So show them you do that. Now with volunteer experience, there's such a huge benefit to show this. You're telling recruiters and you're telling companies that, hey, I've given my time up for something I care about. That's the type of person I am. And that's the type of person that you can hire. Doesn't mean you could take advantage of my time, but know that I give that time. Meaning that I'm not going to be someone that's like, no. I'm not giving, I'm not volunteering, I'm not helping. I have that. That's part of my skills. It's part of the stuff I love to do. I'm a deeply passionate, caring person on these topics. The other thing about LinkedIn, when you talk about what you care about, is people can see the articles that you follow. They can see the people and the missions and the thought leaders that you follow. And by seeing that, they know that you care about those things. So this is why you need to know what you care about, or at least what you want to showcase about what you care about. And the last thing is another thing people often forget, especially if you might be doing a blurb or a pitch. What are you looking for? You want to be very clear on that. Even if there's some parts of it you're unsure, can you put it in a general box? Meaning, I'm simply looking for a job. I don't know what exact job title that is yet. I don't know where that might be yet. That's okay. But do I at least know I'm looking for a job? Or I'm looking for a connection? Or I'm looking for a new contact? What does that look like? And that's important for you. Maybe increased network. I am honestly looking just to increase my network. I don't know what that means yet, but at least I know that's why I'm stepping into LinkedIn. Or I'm looking for a mentor. Maybe I'm looking to mentor someone. Maybe I want to get on LinkedIn because I want to help somebody else. These are the opportunities and questions that you can ask. So let's dive a little further. LinkedIn. I like to debunk some of our myths before we go into it. Look at this cool photo. This is a very common concern. Before we dive into this picture, did you know that LinkedIn now has over 740 million members worldwide, globally? But I hear this one so often. I don't like social media. If this is you, that's okay, because guess what? I don't like social media either, unless I have to do it for my business, InnerGem. But I like LinkedIn. And how is that possible? I'm going to share an example. Let's say I am somebody who says this often. I love movies and I want to work in the industry. What would you see me post on social media if I liked movies? So let's take a little dive into this. I would be posting the following things on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I would be posting recommendation on movies. I would be posting my top 5 movie list. I might be posting selfies with actors and actresses. I might be posting my top 5 dislike list. I might be asking questions. Who has additional movies that I can watch? That's what you might be posting on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I might dress as a character. I might post it. What would you see me post on LinkedIn? Maybe I'm posting my experience in filmmaking. Maybe I'm connecting with individuals in the industry. Maybe articles on actors, actresses making an impact. An article about how your favorite movie was filmed and who directed it. Maybe about the school you want to go to. Maybe you're connecting with these people. Maybe you're connecting with organizations that do filmmaking and you're talking about your passion for filmmaking and the types of films you like to film. So maybe you care about social impact. So maybe you're talking about why social impact is so important to you. That's the difference with LinkedIn. And the key takeaway here is LinkedIn is a place to promote your professional brand. It's a place to connect with new members, showcase the topics you love that we discussed, and engage with other professionals. Join groups with like-minded industry professionals, increase your topics you want to know more about. It's not a place to highlight selfies. You want to be mindful that professionals can see what you're posting and commenting on. So it's a way to show off your professionalism. It is essentially a great way to showcase your transferable skills like communication, professionalism, and public speaking. So know that LinkedIn is a place to say, hey, if you don't trust that I can write a good email, if you don't know that I'm good on camera, if you don't know that I can speak professionally about your organization or company, come check out my LinkedIn. You'll see what I can do. And no one else essentially is going to have your password. So they know this is your work. Okay, I hope I've promoted LinkedIn enough. I'm not a sponsor for them, but I'm going to share a few more facts if this hasn't kind of resonated yet, because I understand. Here's another reason why you need to be active during your job search. 9 out of 10 employers are using LinkedIn for hiring. So if you're choosing not to use LinkedIn, you might have to track that 1 out of 10, or maybe somebody you know. 30 million employers and business professionals engage on LinkedIn every single day. And LinkedIn members are 9 times more likely to get hired by networking. I don't want these stats to overwhelm you. What I hope you get out of this is that you have the power and agency to bring yourself to this opportunity. Because I always say this, why miss out on an opportunity that can open doors for you? Many of you, including myself, may not have a chance to be in spaces where business deals are being made, where CEOs are sitting at the table, where we have certain universities networking with potential mentors, being placed in internships. So you have the chance here to advocate for yourself on this platform, where these CEOs are, where these recruiters are globally. Well, where well-connected people are actually hanging out, especially now. I got a wonderful question in the chat, and I'm actually going to answer this one because I think this is really important to dive into it right now. How do I ensure that my LinkedIn profile is aligned with my resume, especially if the resume has to be tailored to every position? Thank you for this question. I get this often. Here's your answer. Your resume is tailored to every position. Your LinkedIn is tailored to your whole professional brand. So what's on your LinkedIn is going to be more than what's on your resume, which is why recruiters look you up. They want to know more about you. So put everything that's professional brand about you on LinkedIn, and I'll show you how you can align it all. But I'll tell you this, whatever you want a recruiter to know about you that you can't fit on that resume and it's not tailoring to that job, throw that on LinkedIn. Thank you for that question. That was really good. Okay. So how do I do this? How do I align my brand? How do you align your brand with your LinkedIn? Hopefully now my marketing pitch has convinced you. And maybe now LinkedIn needs to call me up, but that's another conversation. How do I align your brand with your LinkedIn? This is a huge question. People ask me all the time. Well, thank you. Where do I start? First things first, I use this method called GEM. Inner GEM kind of works. Step 1, be confident in your gifts. Know what you are going to share. Know what you have to offer and be proud of it, meaning dabble into your professional experience, draw out your transferable skills, draw out your accomplishments, show the work that you've actually produced. Now, you want to look at what you care about. What are you going to be looking from LinkedIn? You want to look at your education experience, volunteer experience. Who have I worked with before that can vouch for me? Be confident in your gifts. That's the first thing you need to step forward into. And tell yourself, these are my gifts, and I'm about to put this on my LinkedIn. Step 2, explore your ideal audience. I say explore here. This is huge. It can be more than one type of audience. It can be a recruiter as well as a potential mentor business. Write it out. Search for some of them on LinkedIn. See where they are hanging out on LinkedIn. See what posts they're liking. See what groups they're in. Find your niche to be authentic in connecting with them and engaging with them and showing them that you too are worth that investment through liking your posts, through being on your page, to connecting, etc. Because recruiters are on LinkedIn maybe 5 hours of their day if they're not interviewing people. They're constantly on there. So how can you attract? That's the question. So here's my gifts. Here's my potential audience. Step 3, well, how do I connect these? Make your work known. So there's a bunch of questions here. How do I do this and where do I do this? Here are a bunch of questions people ask. How do I authentically highlight my accomplishments? So if I know I am looking to attract a recruiter in the tech industry, and I know that, I'm coming in with experience that might be in customer service, it's not in tech. That's okay. I'm going to authentically highlight all my accomplishments. But what I will show you how you can do is figure out the skills that some of these tech jobs are looking for and find times in my life where I've used these skills and throw it on my LinkedIn page in various different places. Ask yourself, how do I attract my ideal audience? Maybe there's a recruiter or a hiring manager that has the same passion and cares about the same thing as you. This is one thing to take away from here, if anything. Your career, your professional experience, if you're transitioning into an industry, that information may or may not relate with somebody else. But the stuff you care about, the causes that you care about, can relate to somebody else. So find that trick. Find what you can relate to a larger number of group and talk about your cause. You're not going to attract everybody, but it's quality over quantity here. Because when you build those quality relationships with people using your LinkedIn, they will go to bat for you. Then you want to ask yourself, who is in my network? Who do I want to ask to really vouch for me in my network? And who would I want to bring into my network? And now you want to ask, what skills do I add? Where do I add it? So what are the skills that I need to show for the job I'm looking for, the career I'm transitioning to? How do I add it? It doesn't need to be everything. And what do I want to post to attract my ideal audience? We'll talk about engagement too. Now keep throwing questions too in the chat as they come up, because this stuff can be it can be a lot of information, but you can feel free to screenshot this slide if you need to. I'm actually going to go through a LinkedIn review with you. So I'm actually going to pop up my LinkedIn here for a moment. I think it'll be a great chance for you to kind of get a chance to see what I'm talking about. But in my LinkedIn review, here are the following things that I'm actually going to be talking about. I'm going to talk about the top sections of your page, what you really need to focus on at the very minimum, because it doesn't have to be everything. I don't want to overwhelm you. But when you're getting into that mode of like, I'm so excited to update my LinkedIn today, because sometimes we get to that part. What are the 5 sections you really want to pay attention to? What are the top sections? We'll talk about searching for people, groups, jobs, and skills. We'll talk about engagements in post, tips on networking, and the additional learning that exists on LinkedIn if you have not used it yet. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to showcase my LinkedIn page here. I'm only going to use my LinkedIn page. I don't want to use anyone else's. Don't feel overwhelmed. I have worked on my LinkedIn for quite some time. It's not perfect. I've done a lot of work on it, but doesn't mean that don't compare one page to another. Okay, so here is the top 5 sections you really want to think about. You want a photo. Oftentimes I see people without photos. When you don't have a photo, you're saying one of 2 things. Number 1, am I a real person? Number 2, I have not completed my profile. And number 3, people now want to know, who is this person? That's a huge thing to figure out. You want your profile photo to be just kind of waist up. You can use an iPhone against a white wall if that's what you need. Post that photo and you want to look warm, inviting, and smiling. That's important. Just a slight smile if you can. You want to be welcoming to your page. There's this new thing called a header here that I want to highlight. I need to move mine over. See, things are not perfect. This header, I see a lot of people putting things on these headers like their favorite movie actor. I see a bunch of flowers. While all that's great, remember that example. LinkedIn is not Facebook. LinkedIn is not Instagram. So whatever you're putting here has to speak to your brand. For me, my LinkedIn page is all about my company, Intergem. But let's say that I was looking to work in the tech industry. I might put a photo of a computer up there. I might put a photo of systems. I might put a photo of coding numbers up there. Whatever matters to you. I might even put a photo of nonprofits that I've worked with, or missions and causes I care about. It doesn't have to be just the job, but what do you care about? So this is what people will see when they first go to your page, and you want them to know a little bit of nugget about you. Okay, your name It'll be there. Here is a tagline. I hear this one a lot. What do I do in my tagline? Let me show you something cool. On the right where it says people also viewed, what's the first thing you see of people after their name and photo? Taglines. So you have to make your tagline attractive because people make assumptions about us within a matter of 1 to 3 seconds. So whatever assumption you're going to let someone make about yourself, your tagline must be attractive. So it can be whatever role you're in right now. You can promote the company you're working for. It's up to you. Remember, we don't want to, if you're currently in a job and you're looking for a new job, you don't want your company to think, I'm trying to quit, I'm trying to leave you. That's also a worry for people, and I get it. So if you're a community manager at XYZ company, leave it. But that's not the only thing you want to have on your tagline. Put other stuff. What you're going to put on there are small words about what you care about, what you're trying to attract. This is who you're attracting. So for me, I'm attracting people who want a speaker. I'm attracting people who want LinkedIn support. I'm attracting people who want to do mindfulness. I'm attracting people who care about people. That's who I'm attracting. And Nick, you can have 4 or 5 of these up there. It's not an issue. Maybe you're attracting a tech recruiter. So maybe you can say you're a tech professional. Maybe you're a help desk technician. So maybe you can talk about, I love computers. Whatever it is, talk about who you are a little bit. Add a little bit more flavor to this tagline. It's what will make someone click your page. We'll go down to the About Me section. This is often a section that I see could be done a lot, can have a lot more meat to it, because this is where we highlight our accomplishments. Here are the things you want to add to the About Me section. Everyone always asks me. Okay, the About Me section, you want to add the following. Okay, we add, you had who you are, what your skills are, accomplishments and highlights, where you've worked or what you've worked kind of, and then the things you care about. So everything we talked about in the first thing and what you're looking for. So your experience, you can add education and certifications if you want. You can add what you care about, the causes, the missions, etc. And then the last one is, what are you looking for? Always say that, because when people are reading this, you want them to say, oh, this is why I can connect with this person. So for me, connect with me if you're interested in having a conversation, etc. So that stuff is important. Perfect. I'm looking at some questions in the chat I'm going to address in a moment. So a few questions I got, and I'm going to bring this up now, but it'll come later, about your skills and LinkedIn Premium. So I will address this. Okay, your work experience. Forget my first one because it might just be different than yours, but let's go down to jobs. How much is too much? How much is too little? I get this question often. Put all the jobs you've worked in up until about, if you have like maybe 5 jobs within 10 years, it's okay to kind of stop at 10 to 12 years. If you've worked at the same company for about 10 to 12 years, then you can extend a little bit more jobs because it shows that you've had different jumping jobs, and you've had different experience at different places if you have. Internships are good to add too if you're still early on in your career. You don't want to put volunteer experience in your professional experience. We don't want to kind of mix that or mess, because you have the opportunity to do that later. This is what I say. Add duties that you did on this job that are trying to attract your ideal audience. Now, I know you might have been working as an operation manager, and when you were an operations manager, you must have answered tons of phone calls. But let's say you're not trying to attract anyone with that skill. Really, what you're trying to do is show your project management skills because you want to transition to project management. What would I post if I wanted to do project management? I would actually post the projects I worked on as an operations manager. So this is also the difference between resume and LinkedIn. Your resume might show that you answered 50 calls a day and supported an XYZ, but your LinkedIn might be a paragraph or a few lines talking about 2 or 3 major projects that you led and accomplished. That's going to be the key part, because I'll say this. Most people will have already read your resume when you get to your LinkedIn. If not, they might ask you for your resume. So it doesn't need to be the exact same, but you don't want whatever's on your resume to be a lie. You want to make sure that the dates and the jobs check out. That's really important. They're going to check for that validation. So moving down here, let's see what other questions. If you have any questions on this section, I like to go section by section. Do I recommend bullet points or paragraphs? And do you need a chronological order, especially if you've taken a break? Chronological order is the #1 priority. Always have a chronological order. You don't want anyone to have to kind of do the math that. Any extra work someone has to do when they're looking at your resume or your page, you've lost them. Immediately, they're on to the next. It's competitive. And people's attention span are so short. Recommend bullets or paragraphs. That's up to you. Frankly, it's up to you. I would say in the tech industry, bullets are good because you can really talk about the skills you might have used if you've used certain platforms and tech platforms. I recommend if you're working in more of a social services industry, if you're doing more of like a human resources job, paragraphs are fine because you're also showcasing a transferable skill. This is how I write. Everything you do here is showcasing your skills. It's your chance and your opportunity. So great questions there. Okay, education. I often see people miss out on some of their education. If you have more than 5 years of work experience, you can remove your high school. The high school part is irrelevant. Put the college, put grad school if you've gone to grad school, put the organizations, the groups you were part of. Don't just put the school. If you were part of a group on campus, add it, because how cool would it be if someone came to your page and did the same thing at another college? And now you have a starting point for a conversation. This is why it takes a little bit of time to get your LinkedIn up to date. So I was really much part of the race, gender, and class interaction group relations at Cal State Long Beach. For that reason, it attracts a lot of people to my page who care about diversity, equity, inclusion. And so that's why I put that there. That's what I want to attract. License and certifications, don't forget this one. People often do LinkedIn Learning. We'll talk about that. But LinkedIn Learning, actually, after you've completed learning, it'll attach it to your LinkedIn. I might have started 10 courses, but I did finish this unconscious bias one and attached it to my LinkedIn. LinkedIn, like certifications that you might have that might be irrelevant or unrelated, it's okay to put it. It shows that you have this additional need for knowledge. If you've taken a break, if there's a gap in your resume, I see that was one of the questions. Can you get into LinkedIn Learning if you are not currently working and start adding some certifications and courses here? Was there anything you did in that gap that you can highlight or promote? Now, I will say this one plug. A gap is also something you can write on your cover letter. You can explain a gap on your cover letter. So use that as an opportunity. You can also throw a little bit of your gap in your About Me section. You know, looking to transition into this industry, took a 2-year gap because I had a beautiful baby who means the world to me. So these are the things you can add. You're a person at the end of the day. You're not a robot. For me, I put something that matters to me the most. I put that I love teaching Zumba and yoga, but I'm not attracting people looking for Zumba and yoga teachers because I don't want to teach it virtually. But I do put that little nugget, like this is a little special thing about me that might be different than someone else. This is what I care about. Okay, so this is the other volunteer experience. Throw it on there. These are the causes you care about. You really care about. See, everything I care about is about students and youth because I've talked about that already. It was one of my branding topics. Skills and endorsements. I'm going to go into this in a second. Actually, this is going to take a little bit of a longer time. So let me skip this because there is a question in the chat about this. Recommendations. If you don't have a recommendation from 2020 or 2021, I encourage you to get one now. These are the people that can I can recommend you. Teachers, peers, colleagues, if you're new in your career. Other individuals, people you've worked with, people you've interned with, mentored, people that worked under you, people that you worked under. Anyone that can vouch for your professional work. Professional just does not mean paid job. Let's get rid of that part. So reach out to people. Ask for a recommendation by clicking here. Who do you want to ask? Before you ask them, make sure if you have a personal relationship with them, you can message them and ask them. One thing I like to do for people that I'm not super close with is I actually write a recommendation for them on their LinkedIn. And I say, hey, was just skimming through my LinkedIn. I felt like I was just feeling really had a really big gratitude day because World Gratitude Day was yesterday. So maybe take advantage of that. But I just felt like being super gracious for the work you've done and wanted you to write your recommendation. They will honestly say thank you and be happy for that. And then you might say, you're welcome. Would you mind writing me a recommendation in return? And that's the best thing they can give you in return. So think about this. And also the big thing here is you don't want an imbalance between received and given. These small little nuggets, meaning if you're receiving a lot of recommendations and you're giving none, what does that say about you? That I don't have anything great to say about someone else, or I'm not giving to receive. These are important things to note. Okay, another question. I got a question. I hear a lot about hard skills, but what happens if my soft skills are my biggest strengths? I'm going to tell you this right now. That's me too. All my profile is soft skills, very little hard skills. And I'll tell you, we'll talk about skills in a moment. That's going to be my last piece because there's a lot about it. Accomplishments, you can add some of your projects that you've worked on. You can add some of your speaking engagements if you've done any. You can add things that you've done. See, I need to add this here. Maybe you've done some major projects with groups, collaborated on, you still took part in it. The other thing I want to say is your LinkedIn profile is in first person and your resume and cover letter, your resume is in third person. Cover letter can be in first, but LinkedIn is in first person. I see a lot of people talk about themselves in third person here on LinkedIn. It just kind of depersonalizes your LinkedIn page. You want them to be like, this is my brand and this is who I am. So if yours is in third person, please make sure to kind of change it to first person. That's huge. And here we go. Interests. We may not realize this, but this is a popular area. Start removing anything here that you don't want to be associated to, because people can see if you follow or like something. That's the beauty of LinkedIn. Now we talk about that. You can see on LinkedIn how many people you're closely connected to. You can see if you're a first degree connection with them, if you're a second degree connection with them, who I'm connected with. Let's go to this person's page. I'm going to remove their name here, but I have 11 connections here with this person. So if I want to connect with this person, I might ask one of these connections how closely they're connected with that person. First, ask them, how closely are you connected with this person? A major mistake somebody once did with me was they saw that I was connected to somebody at a company, and they asked me to refer them to this person. Now, I actually didn't know this person. This person came to one of my speaking events and followed me. I didn't know who they were. So I was a little offended without the prior question. Hey, how do you know this person? I'm curious because I want to work at this company. Then I would say, I actually haven't met this person, because I'm not going to make an introduction for you if I've never met them. But hey, I know you're interested in this company. Maybe I can explore a little bit to see who I do know. Or maybe I can help you write an informational interview, email, or a networking pitch to get you an interview with this person. But by just directly saying, can you connect me? That's assuming that that person knows them on a personal level or a close related level. So be mindful of that. Okay, skills. Let's do this. Okay, let's do recommendations. What if you haven't been employed in nearly 40 years, self-employed as a solopreneur on and off? Your most current letter of reference is dated 2011. If you have been self-employed as a solopreneur on and off, you are employed, and you need to showcase that work on your LinkedIn. The work you did as a solopreneur. Employed does not just mean you are employed by another company. You are employed by yourself, and showcase that. Second of all, because that's what I am. Second of all, your most current letter of reference is dated 2011. Your recommendations are not just letter of references. In any work that you did as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, did you talk to anyone who can say, this person does good work? That's who writes your recommendation. Does not have to be all formal. Remember, your brand is the work you've done. It's not just the companies you've worked for. Take agency of that. That's a great question. Is it okay if the wording is the same on my resume and LinkedIn, or should I change it a little so that they are not identical? Ooh, that's great. A work experience bullet. Your LinkedIn can have more. But what I would say is that your resume should have some sort of a reflection of what's on your LinkedIn. But yes, the statements can be changed if you're customizing it to a job description. We're all going to change bullet point statements. The things that cannot change are the numbers. So the amount of people you might have supervised, the amount of projects you might have led, the amount of clients you might have worked with, that doesn't change. But it's okay if your bullet statements change or sound a little bit different with different words, because you're customizing it to a resume, and recruiters know this. Okay, skills, favorite part. So this is what I do. Let's say we're searching for a job. And let's say I want to look for a project manager job. I don't know why I keep using this one. I want to do a job type. Let's say you can customize it by full-time. You can customize it by remote. One thing I'll say is don't just easy reply. You can easy reply, but find somebody who might work there that you can reach out to. Find the website to apply to and find out what they're looking for. Because easy apply, unless you're 100% matched to a recruiter, that is not always effective. Okay, so let's say I want to work for Crystal Equation Corporation, and I scroll down. This is why LinkedIn Premium can be beneficial if you don't have it. It's $29 a month. I think you can use it for 1 or 2 months while you're actively looking for work. Some places might give you discount codes. So try to see if there's anyone who can do that. LinkedIn Premium gives this option to tell you the top 10 skills that they're looking for. I actually have 7 out of the 10. Who would have thought? But the 3 that I don't have right here, can you vouch that I speak English well? Am I good at teamwork? Am I a good marketer? Probably. This is the work I've done, and I can give them 1 or 2 examples of when I've had to use all of these skills. Now, LinkedIn is telling me I don't have this skill. There's a discrepancy here. Same thing here. If you don't have LinkedIn Premium, and that's okay, there are a lot of skills here that are listed: cross-functional, strategy, execution, meet deadlines, priorities. So LinkedIn has an algorithm. If you write the skills that they are looking for, your profile will pop up to the recruiter for this job. Or if you click easy apply, your profile will pop up. Or if you submit a resume, your name might show up. They can search you. Recruiters have a portal, a back-end portal that they can see who matches. So then how do I tell people that I can speak English? I go to my profile. I go down to my skills. And I add the skill. And I say it. Once it's added, it'll match it to my profile. Now, people can go to your page now, and you have the option to ask people that you're connected with, or people can go to your page and vouch for skills. So the reason program evaluation and facilitation are top two for me is because I have all these connections who have endorsed me for the skill. So the question here lies, you can add all 50 skills to your page. It's not going to be an issue for you. But the ones you want to highlight on your page, can you find people that can help you, and can you have them endorse you? Something I've seen happen often is when people try to network with me, they'll reach out to me and they'll say, it's so great to be connected to you on your profile. I saw you speaking at this event, or I think you and I worked together in this previous job. I actually endorsed you for some skills. Are there additional skills you want me to endorse you for? So that's how you can do that, as long as you have someone that can vouch for the work that you've done, but they can also endorse you. So this is what I mean by asking questions using your network and using the people you've connected with. It doesn't have to be in a professional job. After you have an informational interview call with someone, you can say, hey, would you mind endorsing me for a skill after I've shared with you my work experience? I've talked to you about the amount of projects I led. Would you mind endorsing my project management skills? I got a question about how to access discount codes. I actually don't have that answer, but I know some organizations and nonprofits, if you're part of many like workforce development nonprofits, or you've seen any of them, you could ask them if they would give you 1 month of LinkedIn Premium for free, or if they offer that as an option. Sometimes they do that. What I would say though is don't get LinkedIn Premium until you're super active in the job search, if finances is the hard part for you, but you are able to pay for about 1 month of it. Soft skills, this is a great place to put this. What I would do is find a nice balance here of where you can put hard skills. So start to explore what hard skills might be. For me, I really tap into the technology stuff. So like PowerPoint, Word, Excel. I really put those as hard skills for me. It all depends on the job you're looking for to apply for. I'll say this, soft skills are just as important as hard skills. People forget that. So if you're looking for the tech industry and you've got SQL everywhere, you have Java everywhere, but you don't have customer service, you don't have communication, you don't have public speaking on your page, chances are you're not going to get a job, because they want to know that you are going to be, it's easier to train you on the hard technical skills than it is on soft skills. And so if you're going to come in and it's going to be hard for you to, your customer service is not up to date, and it's going to be harder for you to have a good relationship with the clients or the people you're working with, that's harder for them to train. That means they're going to have to boot you out and bring someone else in. So think about that. You have to think about your accomplishments in terms of hard and soft skills. That's a huge thing. So when you're asking for people to recommend you on your page, it doesn't just have to be hard skills. We're so focused on hard skills, which makes it harder for us to apply to a job. But I'll tell you this much, if you don't meet 100% of the job, apply anyway, because every job I ever got in my life was applying to jobs that I might have met 60 or 70%. Because the stuff that is harder to train is the stuff that are soft skills. I think the current limit, there's a question on the limit to add on skills. I think it's about 50. So the other thing too, is you can change your skills around like here and there. You don't have to match 100% for jobs you're applying to. And if you're looking kind of in the same field, search for 5 or 6 jobs in the same industry or job title you're looking for. So I would pull 5 or 6 project manager jobs together, and I would highlight the top skills that are popping up and make sure that are on my page and try to get endorsements for those, because those are going to be the ones. And then the ones that might be harder to train for. That's also important. Another place you can add skills, it doesn't just have to be here, is everywhere else on your page. So this is the other thing. Now that I saw that project management job is looking for cross collaboration, wherever I've done a cross collaborative project, meaning working in groups of teams with different departments, that could be the same thing even in college, I would put that project I worked on. Like, I've done this work here and I've worked cross collaboratively on the following projects. That skill now they do a sweep of your whole page, not just the skills page. So if you can't fit it all there, put it in your About Me section. Here are the top 5 skills that I want you to take away from looking at my profile. Are endorsements from an older workplace prior to a career gap considered dated on a LinkedIn profile? Nothing is dated. That is a huge question. That's a great question. These questions are showing you that there's never too much to put on your page. If you're asking yourself if I should put it on the page, put it anyway, because that means you're taking away from opportunity to show people what you've done and who you are. There's a featured section here. It's not something that's priority, but it's important to pay attention to. For me, because I do this for my business, it kind of, if that's something you're looking to do, it shows people why they can be attracted to what they immediately will find about me and how they can work with me. So that I'm a coach and a DEI strategist, that you can work with me for mindfulness, and that I care a lot about self-care. These are the 3 top things that I want people to know about me. And that's how they can find it. Let's talk about engaging posts. Let's see. Oops, I think I might have missed this. Okay. So what you choose to post is entirely up to you. There are various different ways you can post it. What you choose to post, though, should be things that relate to your brand. So I'm going to show you a couple things. This is a nonprofit that I care truly about, and I posted about them because that has to do with what I care about, young people succeeding in life. The other thing here I posted was coming here today, because this is what I do for work. The other thing I post is a picture of my dad. Now that's personal. Some might ask, why? Well, the story I wrote about my dad talks about how he started his own business, and it motivated me to start my own business. So what did I just post? I posted my why about my career. That's my professional brand. So you can post your why. Why am I transitioning to this industry? Why do I care so much about it? I post quotes. I post things about that I promote. But I also share things that matter to me. I shared this painting right here about diversity, equity, inclusion. So it's really dependent for you. You can post in various different levels. You can post an article. You can share an article. If you're going to share an article, I always say have a little tagline from the article. Pull out something that speaks to you so people know what about that article mattered to you. You can post quotes. If you feel comfortable, you can post, hey, I'm looking for I'm transitioning back into the industry and the career. These are the skills I have to offer. Does anyone want to connect with me? These things are important. The cool thing here is anyone that likes it, don't care about numbers on LinkedIn. I say this, don't worry about numbers on LinkedIn, because anyone who likes it means that their community can see that they've liked it. So if someone likes a post, that means they're intentional about liking it. It's not just going through and liking things, because they know their community is going to see it. So if you have like 5 people who like one of your posts, that means the connections of those 5 other people have now seen your page. So if you're trying to post that you're looking for a job in XYZ industry, your page can go out to many people. You don't realize that. And what ends up happening is you can go to your dashboard and you can see that hundreds, thousands, don't look at these numbers, like I said, but certain amount of people looked at my page. You can find out who did it, and maybe you want to connect with them. Hey, I saw you peeping into my profile. I'd love to know what was interesting to you. I'd love to connect with you. And that's how networks come to you. That's also how you can check if your profile is speaking to your brand. Am I attracting the audience I want to attract? And this is how you can see how many recruiters are looking at your page, what companies they're coming from, and that you can go back to their page and look. Let people see you looked at their page. Allow people to know that, because they won't know you exist in this world if your page is blocked. That's another thing I say. So unblock your page. What should be the major soft skills one should try to acquire apart from leadership, teamwork, communication? Public speaking is huge. Collaboration is one of the top skills that people are looking for nowadays. People are looking for teamwork. They want to know that you can work together in teams, that you can communicate. Customer service is one of the biggest ones. Depending on your industry, things kind of change. So consider when you might have used any of those experiences. It doesn't just have to be a paid professional job. Again, it could be voluntary, internship, working on a project. You also have opportunity for LinkedIn Learning if you get premium. So that's another way if you're trying to add more to your profile. And I'll share this last thing with you that I love to do. Let's say that I want to join a project management group. You just type in the type of industry you're looking for, what you're looking to do. And this little tagline up here has everything that you can find out about this topic. So maybe I want to join a group of professionals who are in project management. This is where the people I'm attracting to my page might be living. So I'll go to the project management office. I'll see there's 153,000 people in this group. I'm going to request to join. Once I get accepted into this group, there might be a lot of posts. So when you scroll through your LinkedIn page, anything you like, people can see. It's also a way for you to comment on people's posts. That's another way for someone to say, oh, this person made a really interesting comment. I want to know more about their brand. I want to know more about who they are. So if you're actively looking for a job search, 90% of my jobs I ever received, and you've seen on my page, I've had quite a bit, was all through networking on LinkedIn. While it's a little bit more intense, I'll tell you this, it's a little bit more intense. What I will say, it is a lot more effective than just sending out 100 applications a week. That I will guarantee. Because once you start connecting with these people, hey, I see that you're part of the same group as me. I'd love to know more about why you're in the project management office group. Can we have a conversation? And I'm going to leave you with, and I'm going to share this one golden nugget before we start to close out. If you are networking with somebody, do this one thing for me as a virtual, if you're doing a virtual networking and you really want to talk to someone and they're finally like, yes, I can talk to you. I can give you a call. Buy them a virtual coffee. Can I buy you virtual coffee? That means when they say, yes, next Tuesday at 2:00 works. Can you send me an invite? Great. Also send them an e-gift card to their email address. So get their email address, send them an e-gift card, maybe to Starbucks, to a local coffee shop, if you know where they live, and send it to them before the meeting. So even if they're not drinking that coffee in the time, you've actually bought them coffee. And people never forget that person that bought them coffee. I'm going to answer one more question. How do you add hashtags in between your tagline and your location? Let me look back to what you are asking and referring to. Okay, hashtags, talks about diversity. Okay, yeah. So here's a great one. Great question. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Please ignore all my stuff. Okay. So how do you add these hashtags? There's an open to section here. You can ask if you're open. I think premium might only have this one, finding a job, hiring, or providing services. I did providing services. For you, if it's finding a job, at least recruiters, and I believe it's not going to go to everyone on your page. So your boss might not see it, but recruiters will see this and they can show you open to jobs in technology, open to project management jobs, etc. So it's really important that you do that too. Okay, so I want to share, if there are no other questions, I want to share an offering for you because I know there's a lot I shared and there's so much more to be shared in terms of networking templates. How do I reach out to somebody? What can I post? How can I validate that my post is good? How do I actually search for a job? And how do I go through the process of searching for a job, connecting with the recruiter, following up with that opportunity, getting an interview, etc. through networking? So I'm actually going to be, I think I have to give me one moment, I'll share screen. I'm offering a LinkedIn course, which is kind of cool. And for being here today, you get an opportunity to join it. So if you just take your phone and scan this QR code, you'll be able to see it. I think also Meg can post it in, our moderator can post it in the chat here, our facilitator. This is a place you can also go to my website and click on the LinkedIn Revamp course. You can learn more, put your information here if you want information. This is important. Once it comes out, you'll get a chance to sign up for this course. It'll be 8 modules of videos and resources. There'll be networking templates and guides, as well as opportunities for one-on-one coaching with me to get like review of your profile. So that's an opportunity for you for being here. The other opportunity is a free 15-minute LinkedIn coaching, which is cool. 15 minutes, I'll go through your profile and I'll ask you who is your target audience, and then I'll highlight where I can see you add a little bit more power to your LinkedIn. So if you want to take advantage of this free 15 minutes, I'm asking you to do one of 2 things. Add me on LinkedIn. So search me on LinkedIn under Priya Sodha. The other thing is, you can also email me at priya@intergemworks.com. The email is here, so take a screenshot of this slide. Once you send that email, I'll send you my calendar link and we can schedule 15 minutes. This is really good. And again, it's free. There's no gimmick to this at all. And on that note, I know we're close to time. Is there one more last question?
I did see one more question that showed up in the chat thread here. Apala had asked, can professional volunteer work on pro bono projects be added to work experience? And I think this is a really good question because we get asked this a lot in different chats that I host. What do you think, Priya?
Yes. Professional volunteer work can. So there's a difference between volunteer work if you were to build houses for a nonprofit, if you were to go speak at an event for a school, versus this is the project that I led. And you don't need to write, this was pro bono. It's professional. That's why you can put internships that are unpaid on your professional experience. It's professional, and you don't need to write unpaid internship. I always ask the question, why share more if it's going to downplay an accomplishment? If they ask you in an interview, were you paid for this job? Don't lie. Tell them it was pro bono. But professional is not always associated to paid, and we forget that. Great question.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that's a great thing to remember is that you can list these in things like consulting or whatever that kind of churches it up a bit, but then, yeah, like, kind of send the message that it was professional, and kind of go from there. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So in the last couple seconds we have here, I just want to highlight, Priya shared a ton of different links, places you can get more information on her and connect with her. Priya, I'm super excited to see what InnerGem has going on. What's the next big thing you're excited about?
I'm excited about the course. So sign up because this is going to be huge. It's launching October 12th. So you have some time. And I want to close off with this. Accomplishments don't speak for themselves. People don't know what you're doing unless you tell them. So if you have that question, do I want to put this on my page? Do it anyway, because it doesn't hurt to add that. Okay. But yeah, no, I'm excited about the course. I'm so excited for this. And thank you so much for having me here. I love Power to Fly.
Oh, we're so happy to have had you. Thank you so much, Priya. This was absolutely invaluable. And thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing your expertise.
Thank you.